Hey, hey, world. What's going? I don't know why I can't hear you. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, let me click that. Hey, world. Hey, Madam Mayor. Why can't I hear? Wait a minute, madam. Hold on. Let me figure this out. Don't judge my life. Oh, are we here? Are we available? Can I hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you.
Hey,
here. Hey, boo.
hi.
Can we get rocking on IG?
Yes, definitely.
Did you add me yet? Because you know you be booked and busy.
I didn't add you. Okay, let me see. Because I'm learning this whole new Instagram stuff. I mean, it's not new. Like I've had it, but I just haven't, embraced the change. Yeah, I think JadaJae 21 Live.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. Can we get it?
Yeah.
Let me add you. Oh,
see?
Okay. Let me see. Can you okay, you went into your IG, right? There's request to go live.
Okay. Where am I gonna go do that?
Did you scroll up on your comments, or go to the top of your comments, please, Madam Mayor?
Top of okay, I feel real. Okay, request to go. Okay.
Oh, and we popping.
You make me feel real.
No ma'am, no ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, we out here.
Indeed.
We here.
Still socializing.
And we're here. Okay, turn your camera around, Madam Mayor, on your phone.
Okay. Let's see. All right.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Oh, I gotta get you a stand. Stay less.
Okay.
Oh, to hold your phone and get your little tripod. Oh, we
right, so you gotta mute me on my laptop. See, I'll just.
Oh,
you want me to leave the R screen?
Can you move your phone over?
I mean, I could just put my phone here.
Oh, it's gonna be Oh, IG hating. IG, look, everybody on IG, we're gonna catch everything. You'll be able to watch everything on YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything. So go to my Facebook page, go to my YouTube page, go to all those pages, and you'll be able to see this complete interview. We're not going to do this on Instagram because I don't want to hear this back. All right. So everybody, go over to my Facebook, go over to my YouTube, go over to my Twitter, go over to my LinkedIn. We're going to get this interview on and popping with Madam Mayor in the building. IG, we'll see you later. Go follow me over there, and you'll get to see everything live right here in living color. Madam Mayor, I'll meet you back on Restream.
Okay, she said that she needs me back on Restream.
Oh, the kids took the wait.
The man did it. The man, my other production manager.
He was going.
Derek Vertreese.
He was going to get it popping.
Well, he took the laptop away where our stream was.
Yes. All right. So what we just gonna go straight on our stream because that's we hitting more people on our stream on Restream. So hey Al, hey everybody, hey y'all, hey follow, go on YouTube, go to Facebook, go to LinkedIn, go everywhere, guys. That's where we're going. All right, Madam Mayor, I'll meet you back on Restream.
Okay.
Later. Oh, my bad, y'all. We still here.
All right. This better?
Oh, we here. Oh, hey. Hey, Madam Mayor.
I'm back.
Okay, I can turn you back up. Oh, we rocking it. I could turn this off, then we rocking it. We getting it popping. Hey, family.
So the second production manager wants to know how do other people join if because they're gonna call him, like, where is she gonna be? Like, how do they do Restream?
if he can link you on your Facebook page. So I tagged you on Facebook. I tagged you also on we didn't do Twitter. I tagged you on Facebook.
Okay.
So when it should automatically pop up to your Facebook page as well because I tagged you on Facebook.
Okay.
If not, we shall see. We're gonna make it work, Madam Mayor. We will make this work. It should automatically be popping up on your Facebook page as well.
Okay.
Because I definitely tagged you in it. If not, I'm going to edit the post and tag you in it right now. What's up, world? It's your girl JadaJae in the building. A special edition of the Evening Wave. Madam Mayor, could you make sure we're following each other on Facebook as well, please, so I can tag you?
Okay.
Or could you ask Coach, please, to just add me?
You know he gets a kick out of you still calling him Coach.
Of course, that's Coach forever. Madam Mayor, first and foremost, I want to thank God for just connecting this whole union and blessing me and you blessing me to even have this conversation, this open conversation about some real things that's going on in America. I know you are busy, so to have you and to have this time with you, I am blessed. So I want to thank God and Metropolitan Baptist Church because this is where this all started. Way back in the day, like that was years ago back in the day. Like, so just thank God for this connection, Madam Mayor.
I do. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
All day, every day. I'm grateful for all the blessings and the people that God has put into my life.
So to have you and to have this time with you, I am blessed. So I want to thank God and Metropolitan Baptist Church because this is where this all started. Way back in the day, like that was hooking up the Facebook. That's what that is. It's cool. We working it out. We working it out,
and I'm being introduced to some new stuff. It's okay. It's okay because Donald Trump, he challenged everybody to up their Twitter game and Instagram, and I'm like, man, if he could do it, not the way he does it, but
yeah. Say less, Madam Mayor. I got you. You want me on your media team? I got you. Say less. I'm here. I'm available. I'm working for free right now. I got you right the strength of God right now. I ain't even going to take no money out your pocket, but I got you, Madam Mayor. I got you.
Man. Listen, I'm working for free too. Because a lot of people don't know how much time and energy and even personal finances it takes to be in elected office. A lot of politicians, you watch TV, that's the big marketing money politicians. But for those of us out here that's running, trying to raise our own money so that we can represent the community instead of the party, it costs a lot. It's a lot of energy. Just trying to get people to believe in your vision and that we can do better. I know that the pandemic and the deaths of our brothers and sisters have heightened our awareness, but there have been a lot of people who've been struggling with this for a long time. They're just not the most popular kids in the class. And just because somebody has nice marketing materials and literature and all that stuff does not mean that those are the people that's for you. Yeah. If anything, you should be like, why should I reelect you when I'm still in a situation that's making me unhappy? Mm-hmm. You might look nice, you got some great marketing people, your pamphlets are great, but we've been living this way for a long time.
So to further introduce you, you are the mayor of Hillside, New Jersey.
Yes.
How long have you been actively the mayor in this city?
I got elected 3 years ago. Ooh. So yeah, it's been 3 years. It feels like yesterday. But that tells you how much work goes into it, because getting elected, it's hard, but that's the easy part. Actually doing the job, if you're serious about doing the job, that's the real difficult part. Because you are you've inherited everything from everybody else, and you're blamed for everything from everybody else, including what you do. And then some things that you really just can't control. So when we talk about leaning on God and the cross, help me recognize when things are just, I can't own that, or when I have to own it, and you can't escape it, because especially when you're trying to tell people the truth. A lot of people, they claim they want transparency, right? And they claim they want accountability. But when you try to be accountable, why you got to bring up, dirty laundry? Why are you telling on us? Why are you saying all of these things on the record? Because if you were true to your job and doing what you were supposed to do, you shouldn't be ashamed of the things that you've done.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And when we talk about being tired, like, that's what people are tired of. That's why Donald Trump got elected president. People are tired. It ain't that they really believe in half of the crazy stuff he says. Even though he meant it, a lot of people didn't believe it.
Yes.
And that's how Hitler came to power. Like, he said a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and people were like, they discounted it. Oh, that's crazy, 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 until he actually did it.
I thought until he actually got elected, Donald Trump, I thought they were playing. I thought it was no way it was real. I thought America was smart enough and more advanced enough to know that, that really wasn't the smartest way for us to have gone.
Right.
Election night, when it hit, my God, what are we in right now? Where are we? How from Obama do we go 20 steps backwards to Donald Trump? How is this feasible? How is this possible in America? And now fast forward, and we're in this. I want jumping into your speech, because I'm sorry, I did watch your speech, and I just had a flashback in my mind how passionate you were at your speech in Hillside, and how I did peep the shadiness. We're going to go into the shadiness. I peep game. I definitely peep game. We're going to go into the shadiness, but we're going to shine light on the positive and the passion that came from you, Madam Mayor, with the delivery that I could feel as a mother of 3 Black boys in America.
That's right.
Like, how is it? How are you? Now you're sitting in a seat that you can, or you're supposed to have power, right? You're supposed to be able to make a change for your sons. How is this that you're doing this, or trying to do this, in the city of Hillside, New Jersey, town of Hillside, New Jersey?
Well, that's first and foremost. Like, I challenge people all the time to recognize those in elected office that are for you. And you know the truth when you hear it. Some people just don't want to hear the truth. Some people just want to see what they want to see. Some people say, well, this is all we got, so we have to live with that. That's a defeatist attitude. So first and foremost, I spoke from that position. If you couldn't tell the difference between me and some of the sales pitches that were used on the platform of Black Lives, you sleep. Sleep.
And I feel like the crowd they were woke. Right. It was a different reaction.
You could tell the people who were there for the right reasons, and those who were there because it was a photo op.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so, I had 3 Black children, but I was raised by public servants, a police officer and a nurse. Oh, wow. My father was a Pan-Africanist. He was always trying to help people. He's like, you're on this side of the hemisphere, like, you got the cards are stacked against you. And in order to change the system, you have to be a part of the system, because otherwise you're just hitting your head up against the wall. And so I ran for office because I wanted to help people. I don't have a problem being in the spotlight. Like, I was in church, in the choir, singing. I was singing my whole life since I was 6. I know what that is. But I was raised by community activists, servants, people that did well for their community. And so when I, like many other mothers, saw George Floyd getting choked out, it was almost like America was bragging.
Yes.
It was almost like, we could do this to you, and there's nothing you could do about it. Nobody's going to help you. This is your condition. You might as well just accept it. And how dare you say Black Lives Matter? Black lives haven't mattered. They hadn't mattered 10 years ago. They hadn't mattered 20 years ago. You have all of these Black elected officials, and you still can't get no help.
That's
And
exactly America.
you know, these are lawmakers.
Mm-hmm.
These are lawmakers. And I'm not talking about just Black elected officials. I'm talking about people who have ran on a platform of allegedly being progressive, who have, you know, are constantly talking about Martin Luther King and civil rights and this and that. Y'all always going back.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What does that have to do with today?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For me, in my reality, the past has everything to do with today because nothing has really changed for me in 50 years. But when you're saying and using those experiences to continue to be my representative and you have failed to do as much, what are we doing? You know, and I'm not against anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. But all I'm asking people to do is recognize that the system is not sustainable.
Yes.
It's not working. And it's not acceptable to have a portion of our society suffering in silence and then brag about being the home of the freedom and the brave and all of that crap. And then you ask me why I feel this way. Because you know what? My favorite shows are Law and Order and Chicago Fire. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Somebody somewhere in all of those stories believes that there's always a good guy.
Yes.
That justice will prevail.
Yes.
And so why am I wrong? Or why are people calling me an ideologue? Because I believe those things. Mm-hmm. Why isn't that our reality? And we go through all of these negative things and people are like, oh, that's politics. No, that's not politics. That's abuse. Mm-hmm. That's abuse. And under no circumstances, unless I'm physically attacking you or whatever, should you feel justified in putting your hands on my body.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, why? What is this obsession with telling me what I can do with what we say are inalienable rights? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? This is the backbone of our country. That I am born, that God gave me grace to have the hair I have, the skin I have. Why is that in the front to the American flag? Mm-hmm. And why are we still dealing with it in 2020?
Why is it still acceptable? Why do we have to still accept it? Why is it a conversation where now everybody's bringing up, oh, we can protest, but the looters.
Right.
They're angry. The people are angry.
Mm-hmm.
No, I won't personally be out there looting because I do believe my God will have some type of consequences to me personally. But I'm for the people.
Right.
If you that we tried to peacefully protest. We mm-hmm. tried. We've been, like you said, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We've been peacefully trying to just fight for justice, fight for rights that we're supposed to freely have. Mm-hmm. That's all said that, okay, y'all passed rules and regulations saying that, okay, Juneteenth just passed. Thank you, Donald Trump, for blowing that up because white America had no clue what the hell Juneteenth was.
Right.
Talking about, oh yeah, I knew. No, you didn't. You had no clue. You didn't know. You did not know.
Right. But answering your question, what are some things that I've done in Hillside?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll even say before the pandemic, I have been committing myself to try to inform and educate people about the power of people. So I believe that leadership is acknowledging that you need your community in order to be successful. You need people with you, behind you, in front of you. You need people to advise you. You need a village.
Yes, ma'am.
And somehow we have this misconception of leadership. And again, this is how Donald Trump came into power, believing that leadership is dictatorship. That's not what our founding fathers believed in. Regardless of what your opinion of them is, we were supposed to be of one in many, right?
Ooh, I don't know, Madam Mayor. Was it for us? Was it for all of us? And
I feel where you're going, but remember, it was an American experiment. And even back then, there might not have been a black versus white, because that didn't come until America started to need slavery, and that came with the expansion of the states and all that stuff. But believe it or not, there were diverse cultures, and there were people of different ethnicities that were hanged and oppressed and hurt. But when you realize that you could make more money by saying, if you're this color, then you're automatically a slave, or you're automatically relegated to, you know, the poor people's positions, and you can't testify in court and you can't vote, then it makes it easier for people to thank God that they're white. And ultimately that really becomes, you know, I may not have the same as you, I might even have less than you, but I'm happy that I'm white. That was done for a reason, by a reason, with a purpose, right? Because nobody, you watch kids, they're not born talking about, oh yeah, you black and you white and I can't hug you and love you.
Not at all.
So these are things that we're taught. And the founding fathers knew that, right? Originally, when you look at the documents, slavery was supposed to be replaced by immigrants, right? Cheap labor, you come in through the cities, and then you work your way up so that the next generation of your kids does not have to endure that. But we had
industrial labor, right? Like they really hang on that. That's their slavery.
Correct.
But the difference between, because I really have this conversation, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have this conversation with white America often. The difference between slavery, industrial, that their people came over willingly and wanting, that was the dream that was sold to them. Okay, you come over here and you do this work, we're going to bless you with this American dream. I wasn't sold that dream. We were sold that, like, sold into that dream. So it's not the same. White America is not the same thing. It's not. Like, sorry, y'all people was treated like, I can't say sorry. Like, all right, I'm sorry. Go on, madam.
No, and again, and I'm not saying that that was right either, right? And that's the beauty of the Constitution, is that it's supposed to amend and it's supposed to breathe. And so the Second Amendment isn't, oh yeah, we need AK-47s. Like, for what? Like, when they were talking about guns, they were talking about muskets with little knives, and you know, it took you 30 minutes to load it and shoot somebody.
Throwback, yeah.
So the laws were meant to adapt with society. This is why we have the elastic clause. But unfortunately, we have not expanded to meet the needs of the society when we have police officers who have a history of violence, who are politically protected. When you have situations where people can't vote and they are ineligible to vote for prosecutors, right? In some states, not in New Jersey, but in a lot of these states, you can vote for your prosecutor. You can vote for your district attorney. You vote for your judges. Here in New Jersey, they are politically appointed. However, the law says that judges are not supposed to be politically affiliated. Well, then how do you get your job if a politician doesn't appoint you? That's like saying, you know, all of these appointments, all of these judges. I think now Donald Trump is up to 200. It's like those judges saying they don't know Donald Trump. That don't make no sense.
None.
And yet somehow you think that these people are not going to be swayed in their determination of justice when politics is involved. And this is how politics perverts our judicial system. And this is how you wind up with mass incarceration and judges that are making money off of the more black bodies he sends to prison. This is how it happens, right? And this is not new, right? Because Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy did a movie about it, Life. They made a joke about it, but it was based on true stories that happened to black bodies.
It's not new. White America is not new. It's not new. It's not new.
Right.
It's not. And even back, it was not new. I had to present to white America and had to inform them, because they don't learn about our education. They don't learn about.
And I'm glad you say that, but it's a lot of black people that don't know their history. It's a lot of black people that don't know their power, because in education, we were not taught a lot of these things, right? When I've asked people, you know, in the conversation about Juneteenth, how do black people celebrate the emancipation? How do they, in general? Let's say January 1st, 1863, how you celebrate? You know how many black people I come across don't know that that's why we have Watch Night?
Oh, bless me. Teach me something else then.
December 31st, right? Abraham Lincoln had been working on the Emancipation Proclamation for almost a year. So everybody kind of knew that this was where he was going. That's why so many people hated him, this and the other. Came out that he was finally going to pass it January 1st, 1863. Slaves got together in church, said, God is going to liberate us. December 31st, 1862, all of those black people went to church. Because when they emerged from church on midnight, January 1st, 1863, they were free.
Yo, that's dope. Thank you.
So we're doing stuff. We're carrying on these traditions, but we don't even know why we're doing it.
Watch night was just because my grandmother told me I had to be in church.
There you go.
For real, not gonna lie to you. Like, wow, learn something new every day. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You are very welcome. So it's not to say that white people don't know about us. You know, heck, we don't even know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yesterday I read a book on Terrell Schoenberg, and without people like him and his contributions in recovering and saving a lot of those archives that people were like burning and throwing away, we wouldn't even know a lot of our Black history. But again, it was you know, taught separate. And so that's why in my community, I do Mayor on the Block. I try to give people, and I do platforms like this, to give them an opportunity to know me. Yes, because usually politicians are off on this pedestal, and they are 15 details, and they don't want to talk to people, get to know folks, and then when you do talk to them, it's always about politics. They can't relate about struggles of having a family and a job, or a husband that lost a job, or maybe your house is on foreclosure. They're ready to send you off to somebody else. They don't want to share their personal stories. And I get that, because there are some real crazy folks out here who will use some of your vulnerabilities against you. And there are people that will hate you, just for being you. And you don't need that negative energy, because you have so many balls in the air, right? Like you said, I work full time. A lot of people don't know. A lot of politicians have a second job.
Break this down, people, because when you
have no show jobs, but some of us have to go to work every day. I'm mother of 3 kids, plus being the mayor, and I thank God for the township employees, because they're the ones that hold it down and basically call the general out when I have to come out. And I always give back to the employees. I always give back to those community members that are helping Hillside be successful, because it's not about me. Like, I'm not going to be the mayor forever, but I have to at least get people involved enough to where, whoever the next mayor is, they can delegate, and they got people to help them, that maybe they don't want money, but they are willing to do the community work, because the system is not going to give it to us. We got to make it for ourselves. And that was something that our ancestors understood. The system during their time was never going to work for them. And because they understood that, and they didn't believe the hype of, oh, if you work hard, you can achieve. Like, no, you can work as hard as you want to. But if the system not going to let you vote, listen, you got to figure out another way to get these politicians to try to stop them from lynching you. You got to reach out to your Black brothers and sisters in the North to maybe start to share those stories that you can share, because you don't want your family's house burned down. But Ida B. Wells could tell the story, what they're going to do to her, I think that the key to effective leadership is just coming to that reckoning that you need folks. You need people, and you need like-minded people, not gossip, right? Thank God for our pastors, but come on, pastor, if you don't live in my neighborhood at all, why am I going to let you tell me who to vote for? Why can't I meet these people for myself? Why are these people so afraid of me? They want my vote, but they're so afraid of me that soon as they get off the platform, they rushed off into the limo, never to be seen again. But you want my vote? Like, think about the psychology of that. And I get it. You're on a tight schedule. You got to move. Sometimes I get it. People can zap your energy, and they'll take you, all day you'll be there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But I've also seen the other side where it's like, oh, can I just tell you how your book really touched me? I appreciate you. Yeah. And then they rushed out of it. They don't even want to hear your story.
No.
And I don't want to be that type of person. I've never been that type of person. I was the family on the street where the kids would come. Everybody knew my kids. My husband and I, we know whose car belongs in which driveway. Call us nosy or call us.
No.
Right.
Aware. Nah. That's neighborly. That's community. You're supposed to. I don't understand how people could be on the block nowadays and really legitimately don't know their neighbors right next door. Don't speak, and we passing each other every day. I don't understand that concept. I don't get it. So in everything that you're doing, can you fast forward? How can we as a community now be accountable and do more for our communities and in our communities?
The first thing that people need to do, I would say, get to know your neighbors. Let's just piggyback on that. Somebody has something that you don't like, or maybe they don't use their driveway. Maybe they have a refrigerator door that's laid out in the front lawn. Go next door and see what kind of reception you get, and then start to open up those doors to just effective communication. What does that person do? Figure out how you can help each other. Maybe somebody doesn't have a job, but you have networking opportunities or whatever.
Good idea.
Then we need to figure out how to get more people registered to vote. So in the beginning, we talked about Obama. And yeah, he had a lot of hope and he wanted change. We didn't know what that looked like. And I think a lot of people who voted for him didn't know what that looked like. And then when it wasn't necessarily what he did, it was the energy that he invoked in the country.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we're talking about, Lilly Ledbetter and equal pay for equal work for women. Mm-hmm. We were talking about LGBTQ rights. Mm-hmm. Black women couldn't be fired for having natural hair at work. I mean, just marriages and, the extension of rights, and just the fact that there was a conversation about it. People hated that he brought those of us who were on the margins and suffering in silence and just kind of, he brought us into the conversation.
Yes, ma'am. He helped us look better, like something like an Obamacare. When I literally saw my clients, I used to work for the county for 10 years as a social worker. And when Obamacare came to pass, like, they could smile now because they had teeth in their mouths, that they could afford to get, like, they look better. The spirit, the energy changed a little bit because they could afford help. It helped. You feel better. You look better. You feel better. And thank you, President Obama.
And right, the Obamacare didn't go as far as it should have. Why? Because those people who supported him lost their seats. So the minute you think that your local and state legislators are not important, your federal legislators, those people in Congress, they're the ones that vote for bills. So your president, just like your mayor, can have a vision for the township. These are things that you want to see happen, that are good for the community. But if you don't elect people that are supportive of that vision, it will not go, or it'll only go so far. So for those critics of Obama, and I will say that was also a failure of the Democratic Party, because we did not push people to vote in the midterm elections. We did not push people as hard to vote in those midterm elections as we pushed for them to vote for Obama.
That's true.
So that was a failure on our part as a collective, not realizing how government works.
Yes,
so you should be registered to vote. Every single person in your household is registered to vote. And then vote.
Yeah, in real life.
Now that you have vote by mail, right now we have primary elections. Some of them have already passed. But what kills me is people who complain about who's on the ballot in November, but they did not vote in the primary. If you vote in the primary, that actually determines what candidates are on your ballot in November.
Yeah.
You can't get mad because, oh, they're running again. Well, no, there was somebody else running against that person, but you guys didn't vote for that person to be the person on the ballot in November. So you limit your options when you don't vote in the primary. And I mean, so many people, now I never vote in the primary, but I vote for the general election. But then you're angry because things are not working out the way that you think they should have. And that goes for every election. It doesn't matter if it's a sheriff, a judge, a DA, a prosecutor, a mayor, a council person, a congressperson, Senate, all of those people have primaries. Unless you're in a nonpartisan election, you might not have a primary.
So our Jersey people, that doesn't apply to us, right? The judges and all the other, that doesn't apply to us.
No.
Jersey.
Judges in New Jersey are appointed. But again, you can look at who appointed them, and usually you can vote those persons out if this judge is making, racist or white supremacist decisions where you have, a child shot in the back of the head by a store clerk, and they get 6 weeks of community service or whatever.
Pay attention.
They're allowed to stay a judge. Like, how is that possible? How does that make any sense?
Pay attention.
Chiefs of police. How do you hold any of these people accountable if the lawmakers don't support you and the lawmakers are politically appointed? So the system is working perfectly fine because it's a system of oppression. It's not a system where the people you elect are actually controlling their communities. And that's really what the protests are about, is that we should be able to control our communities. And states should not have the liberty of deciding how they're going to treat their Black people. Why? Because the Civil War was already fought over that issue. So when people try to say, oh, it's up to the states, we don't need a federal law, called the anti-lynching legislation. We don't need that because the states should be able to determine it for themselves. No, a hate crime is a hate crime. And justice is swiftly done, particularly by the federal government.
Now that you're sitting in the seat of the power seat, right? Because we tapped in this a little bit, and I want to completely give you the platform to go and flow and completely. If you feel so, if it leads you, please go, ma'am. Because everything you were saying was very important because it matters to our community. And you are a mayor appointed supposed to have this power and to be able to make changes in the community. And your voice should be having an elite say in the community.
Right.
Do you feel that support in the political world when it comes to Black Lives Mattering and justice in our cities and in our state of New Jersey itself? Are you effectively able to make change as a Black woman in your seat?
There are some ideas that I'm empowered to effectuate, but overall, no. The system in New Jersey, and particularly Union County, is it's a lot of people behind the scenes making decisions for those in elected office, and I'm not going to say that everybody is at liberty to vote their conscience or to do what is best for the communities. And I think that this is obvious, right? Not just for Hillside. When you don't have services and when your budget is being bludgeoned and you have repression from who we believe are supposed to be public safety persons. It doesn't matter if it's a hospital, police, fire, teachers. All of these institutions are not adequately serving you. The only thing that makes sense is that somebody is making a lot of money off of your oppression. And I say that because the system has not changed. It's the only thing that makes sense. Like, you're not just going to wake up and engage in mass incarceration unless there's some sort of benefit to doing that. And it could be that we do not want this population of people to vote. Why don't we want this population of people to vote? Because if they vote, and they vote for people who are living for their best interests, then those vendors, those contracts for the government may not go to certain people who have over time provided horrible services to the townships, horrible services to the cities. So why do they continuously get the contracts? Sometimes you need to elect yes people, those who are never going to challenge the system. They're just going to go along, get along. They want the photo op. They want the praise. They want people to say, oh, anything you say, I'll do it. But at the end of the day, they're really not the people in power. And if you look at the people in power, these are people who are not on the ballot. You know, people who get accolades and praise, but nobody really knows who they are, but every politician gives them praise. A lot of these things are right in front of you. If you look at pictures, if you listen to speeches,
pay attention.
It's right in front of you. What you saw, at the protest, it's right in front of you. And you also have to think why the machine doesn't like certain people. What is it about this person? Like, when I meet her, she's awesome. She has great ideas. I love what she has to say. Why is she not acceptable? You gotta start thinking like that. Like, why is this person not embraced by the party that's supposed to be the torchbearers for the civil rights movement and voting rights and women's rights and Obama and all these? How is this person the antithesis of that? And I'm not the only one. You have Jamal, what's his name? Bowman, that's running in the Bronx. He just won his primary against I think, 30-year incumbent. He ran against a progressive ticket. You have Dr. Chad Hardwick, who ran and won his primary, so he'll be on the ballot. So there are people stepping up, but we have to do more than just get folks elected. We have to, we can't just say, oh, hold them accountable and think that means you just won't vote them in next time. Like, you are essentially, if you don't support those people who support your interests as they're going against the grain, right? And they're literally ice skating uphill. If you don't help push them up that hill, holding that person accountable just ultimately means you're not going to vote them in next time. But they've already done 4 years of damage or 4 years of nothing because you put them up against insurmountable odds by themselves. And a lot of these politicians are going to jail for a reason.
How do you not, and it's no shade, I'm gonna ask questions how I need to ask questions. Politicians, what we know, I'm not a politician, so I just,
let me tell you something. We are all politicians. And I'm going to tell you, because politics, really, you may not be the politicians that we have been presented with for the last 30 years, but politics is really nothing more than relationships. It's just building relationships with people. So nobody should say they're not a politician, because we've all bought that Girl Scout cookie box because that was Sister Mabel's niece, and you love Sister Mabel, and you don't want to disappoint her, so you're going to buy that stinking box, knowing that you don't need it for your calorie intake. That's politics. Because it's not worth her looking at you sideways. Why didn't you buy for my grandbaby? She's trying to hustle these Girl Scouts. Okay, I'll support the baby. Like, we've made those decisions, every last one of us. And so, but we do have to have boundaries, and we do have to elect people with principles. So there's nothing wrong with politics. There's nothing wrong with being called a politician. But you have to elect the right politicians. And those are people who consider themselves public servants. But go ahead. Ask your question.
No, I was here for it because you kind of already answered the question. The question was, how do you not? Because what we know politicians is being crooked. Like, what we've been introduced about in the political world is that everybody's crooked as ever. Like, you got to be shady to even enter that world.
Mm-hmm.
As a Christian woman, have you found anywhere that your faith, as your morals, that anything has been tested for you to go into the dark side, to cross over?
Has my faith been tested? I think your faith is constantly tested, but my integrity and my dignity and the fact that I got three little kids looking up to me, that's my moral compass. The other day, actually Wednesday, my 6-year-old son, Tuesday night, we were watching a story about Mr. Rayshard and his unfortunate death in Atlanta. And, my 6-year-old, they watch the news in passing. But apparently he saw just enough. So he went to sleep with that on his mind. So Wednesday morning, he woke up, went to the bathroom. He came outside and he said, "So mommy, after I asked for my lawyer and my phone call, can I still ask questions?" Now that was the first thing out of his mouth. So when that is your reality, like, why would I want to side with the people who have created this situation for my kids? And that's the lens that I look through. And I'm going to tell you, like, I curse a lot.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for being real. Christian women, don't judge our lives. Christian women, we curse. Judges.
But, they also say it lowers your blood pressure, yoga. And everybody knows I'm a yogi. I do yoga on Mondays with the mayor, Okay.
Oh, you Zoom. Social media popping. You put that on your. I'm here for it. We gotta get you. We gonna work that. So we gonna work because I'm dead. All right, go. My bad.
No, I'm gonna say, I always lean on God because I feel like He put me here for a reason. Because I'm like, Lord, here I am in this arena with people that I have avoided my whole life. Like, these are not the academic people. Like, these were not the overachievers. I was the overachievers. Like, I used to edit like essays for my peers to help them get into college. I was elected the Black student leader. And like, no, these are not my people. No. And so why am I here? Because it makes no sense that I'm in the room with people who cheated on the tests, who never came prepared, who were always late, who didn't have any discipline, always trying to get over. And I find myself surrounded with some of those folks. Not all.
They still get all the way ahead.
People they just want to be with the cool kids. They want to be a part of Mean Girls. They want to be with the cool kids. They know what they're doing wrong, but it's always, well, I don't want to be you. And I'm like, okay, but I don't want to be you either because I'm woman enough to live in that truth. And everybody isn't comfortable there yet. We still have a lot of people that believe in you hit me, I hit you back stuff. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to let you beat me up. I'm definitely going to defend myself if that's what happened. But us continuously hitting each other is not going to get us anywhere. So let's figure out how to stop it and move forward. But all of us have not matured past that point.
Do you feel like is it truly a Black versus white problem in America, race, or is it a blue versus everybody else problem in America?
I think that America just has a problem addressing its history of violence, period. And I don't understand how a random traffic stop, like I was watching a video the other day, a white guy in Mississippi, I think, had on the Trump shirt, and the state trooper pulled him over and he asked, like, why'd you pull me over? And the guy wouldn't answer the question. And he's like, I want to see a license. He's like, I'm not giving you my license. So he just started going back and forth, like, I know my rights. And I didn't see a white dude. I saw it, but I didn't care about that. I didn't care about his Trump shirt. You know what I saw? I saw Sandra Bland. And at the end of the day, I was like, I don't understand how a random traffic stop results in you putting your hands on me. I don't care if you touched my hands as I try to open the door, why are you touching me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In any other circumstance, I'm allowed to pull away from you and say, don't touch me. Why do we allow police officers this aggression?
Yes, ma'am.
Why are we saying still to people who are shot in the back or running away or had an alcohol problem, maybe weren't thinking too clearly? Why are we constantly saying to those people, well, if you hadn't had on that short dress, you might not have been raped? Why are we doing that?
Yep.
And it's not a white versus black thing. I think that it is a sick myopathy that it will never be me. You know, it's not me. That will never be my kid. You know, I'm glad that my son doesn't have to learn, you know, African American history because he's not African American.
Yep.
Well, what if he grows up and marries a black girl and now he just looked like an ignorant fool because, you know, you done messed up his date because he done said something crazy. It's not her responsibility to teach that man how to love her. So you hurt yourself. And, you know, it's all relative. And all of these institutions are involved in this system of white supremacy. And to say that this is a black versus white thing is also to say that black people don't engage in white supremacy. And we know that that's not true. There are a lot of black people who will obey white folks. White people could be wrong is wrong is wrong. And they'll, oh no, we got to follow this person. But let the black person come and say the opposite and give you good advice.
Hey, Madam Mayor, when I tell you I work for the welfare, I had a white co-worker, this white male. He used to talk to these people like crap, and they would listen to everything he said.
Let you talk to them like that.
And I'm not even coming at you like that. I'm coming on some peace. I'm coming on some real life trying to help you. Because we here.
Right. So
I'm get the F out of my face, Miss Jefferson. Why you ain't this, that? And I'm every other nothing else in the book. I'm every bitch. I'm every other. Yo, it's real life. It's real life.
So to see everything in black and white or blue versus black, it's like trying to put stuff in a box is very lazy.
Yep.
And the system is 400 years old, and we're going to have to peel it back like onions.
We need to.
And I'm saying onions because it's going to smell bad. It's going to make you cry. Your eyes are going to be hurting forever. You might even feel it in your lungs. You may not even want to hear the onions crackling.
Yeah.
But that is the work that we have to do going forward so we don't have our children suffering the same fate.
Yeah.
You know, and we have enough stories where these black parents invested all of their money, all their time, getting these kids ballet lessons, fencing lessons, swimming lessons, got you the scholarship to the greatest school. You are Ivy League graduate, for you to wind up shot dead in the street because they thought you had a gun and all you had was a hoodie and Skittles.
I was on Twitter this morning. It's a young man. I can't remember his last name. His name is Elijah. He was in Colorado last year. August, this young man was killed, and he was an introvert. He played the violin. There's pictures of this man playing the violin to stray animals online, and because he was in the street dancing because he was an introvert, like he was walking home, and they killed him because he was acting weird. And his last words was like, "I'm an introvert. I don't hurt. I haven't killed a fly. I never killed a fly. Why are you doing this to me?" And Madam Mayor, I'm bawling, crying this morning because I'm like, yo, that's somebody's son.
Right.
This man was just a nerd. Like he was a weirdo. Like how many times we just been outside walking? Like we aren't free to walk home and just be ourselves.
Right.
White America, why must we beg you to just be ourselves? Or justice or systematic system? Why? Why are we still here?
Right.
Why? How, Madam Mayor, please teach me. How can I be better? How can I thank you? I do want to again thank you for allowing me because this is how I can be better. I have a platform. I have a voice. No matter how many people try to make me sign non-disclosures and and no non-talking gab orders. Like, I have a voice, I have a platform.
Right.
Thank you, Jesus. This is the way I can give back to my people. Madam Mayor, please give me more advice of how I can do better, how all of us can do better in our communities. Please, ma'am. Because I want to do better. I want to do more.
I'm going to say, and again, I'm not an expert on this because I pray for that every single day. And it's actually one of the sweetest things that my husband ever said to me. He was like, I love you because you try to be a better person every single day. And it is. It's a new day. It's a chance for you to see different things. And my prayers always go where I need to go, see who I need to see, do what I need to do, be who I need to be. And that's it. And doing better is just being open. I think not judging people based on what other folks are telling you, being committed to not doing the lazy work. Like, let people show you who they are. And either they're going to take you, they're going to walk the journey with you, or they're going to try to stumble you on that journey. And that doesn't mean that you, attack them back or come at them the way, but you need to see them as an obstacle. And that, God is going to give you other people who are going to lift you and who are going to extend those hands and give you the resources and the advice that you need to be successful. So that's number one, is just being open and allowing yourself to trust until people give you a reason not to.
I needed to hear that.
God is in everybody, and he's going to use those people in accordance to his will. And good people come from very toxic folks.
Yes, ma'am.
I have learned that. I've had some evil, horrible people in my life, but through those people, I have met beautiful folks, beautiful people that have helped me along the way. The other thing is reading. Is something that we are struggling with, reading comprehension, and then being humble enough to ask questions about things we don't understand. And it's amazing to me how many folks don't understand government. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't understand the intricacies of government until I was sitting in the seat. But those sitting in the seat who are willing to have this conversation with you, we should be able to expand. But there are some politicians who will never talk to you about it because they benefit on your ignorance. And so, for real, they don't want you to know how the system really runs. But do your research. Like now, Google has everything. It has links to different things. Reading the newspaper on Fridays, and also listening to people who don't agree with you. Like sometimes it's important for you to watch Fox News and just listen to their perspectives, and then try to figure out like really what voice they're speaking from, because there are just a lot of hurt people.
Yes, ma'am.
2008 hit a lot of people hard, and those were Obama years. Trayvon Martin hit people hard, and those were Obama years. And so just with the good, people saw the bad.
Yes,
and there were some who chose to emphasize on the bad. And I know this because he's a black man with a black family, and he does represent that dream. And so it was easy to blame him for all of the things in society that nobody wanted to admit existed. But people just need to be more informed and not seeing questions as a bad thing. And that's my teacher lens coming out, because I always used to tell my kids, smart people ask questions.
Yes. Yes.
Smart people ask questions, and it doesn't matter how rudimentary or fundamental or whatever. I would rather you ask me a question and I answer it so that you can build on that knowledge than you not ask me the question and you just chose ignorance. Like, that's stupid. You're not stupid because you ask a question. You're stupid because you chose ignorance.
Ooh. And it's a lot of and not to bring this back to race, but I feel like there's a lot of people that simply are choosing ignorance. They don't want to have the conversations because it gets hard for them.
Right.
And then they start looking into themselves like, well, damn, wait a minute. Am I racist? Am I such and such? No, like, I was having a conversation with somebody, and she's like, well, she said, I feel like you're making me look like I'm racist. I'm like, I can't make you feel that way. Like, I don't have the power to make you feel like you're racist. Like, I don't have the power. If you feel that in you, then that's something that you can address. We can have an open conversation. And of course, I'm trying to be politically correct, and I don't even know why, because this is my platform, and I can do what I want to do, and I ain't attached to nobody, damn it. But this is what I need white America to understand, because you were very passionate in your speech. We as Black, we're going to get passionate. We're going to get loud. That doesn't change the narrative. That doesn't change anything, and it doesn't. I am not attacking you. Right. We are just culturally different. I don't understand how sometimes in conversations when it's culture, we come across as angry Black women. Oh, you're the angry Black woman. But in white America, Italian women can be the same passion, and it's not said the same way. So I would hope that culture, I'm sorry to even keep bringing this back and forth to race and anything, but I'm in a situation where I'm trying to have conversations where real life, we're bridging gaps, like real life trying to bridge gaps and find different ways to move forward and real life live and work together. Like,
well, and I think that it takes a lot of work on both sides. Like, you know, those of us who are a little more educated in Black culture, we need to be more patient, because like I said earlier, there's a lot of Black people that don't know Black culture. And so if we ourselves are not privy to that, and that's not necessarily our fault, and like I said, it's not about blame, how do we expect white people to understand or know? Especially when as soon as they talk about race, we get crazy sometimes. So we also have to establish a level of comfort to have these very hard conversations, these difficult conversations, and the pain in that conversation too. Yes, because one of my best friends, is it ghetto for me to walk in here in a restaurant with flip-flops on? So my question back to her was, why would you think that I'm ghetto and that I would be able to answer that question?
Right?
Because, and I'm like, listen, I grew up, I had two parents, you know, I grew up in East Orange on the Glenridge side. I went to Catholic school. Like, my parents did very well with the GI Bill and the civil service and all that stuff. So why would you ask me that question unless the color of my skin equals? But again, you have to love somebody to have them think about that. Like, dang, you're right. Why did my mind actually go to that interpretation? But don't be mad at her because she did that, because guess what images she's been seeing her whole life? What images has she been seeing her whole life? Everybody ain't got a friend like me.
You helping me. You speaking so many yes, ma'am. You helping me right now, because I had an incident and I got mad. I noticed something in a friend of mine, and like she was kind of like talking to a kid, but she kept bringing up sports references to this Black kid, and I'm like, yo, he a kid. He not watching no damn sports. Like, he not even into sports. Why couldn't you bring up something else? Like, why would you automatically assume he was into sports? Like, no, like just because of color.
We know why, right? We know why, and it's our responsibility to call a spade a spade. Like, there was a time where those were the only jobs that Black newscasters could have, and that was when they were talking about sports. Yeah. You watch Latino television, you wouldn't think there were any Black Latinos in Colombia or Peru, even though that's where 90% of the slaves went in the slave trade. You wouldn't think we existed in Cuba at all. So again, it comes back to what you were taught. There was a time where I thought that, Black people living in poverty and with graffiti and crack and all that stuff, I thought it was my fault as a child, because those were the things. My parents never taught me that. But the images that I saw on TV, right? The things that were subconsciously told to me made me believe certain things about Black people. And it wasn't until I got older, and again, asking those questions, but also having Black professors and people to help me understand why I believe things about myself, that allows me the maturity to also love my white brothers and sisters enough to tell them, let me tell you why that's not cool. Let me tell you where that's flawed. You know why Black people sing forever? Because that determined how hard we worked in the field. That reflection It's a part of our culture because it was a part of organizing, and it was the way that we protected and loved each other. And it was so beautiful that even the slave handlers didn't want it to end. So yeah, you know what? We sing some gospel songs for 20 minutes. But that's where it comes from. So there's beauty in that struggle. And you should respect people for being able to make lemonade out of those lemons.
Yes.
But again, you yourself don't know that. How you explain that to your white brother?
Oh, yes.
You know, it's a lot of information to unpack, and I'm grateful that we are having these conversations and that young people, you have this platform, that millennials are invested in creating your own organizations and driving their community. I can't express that enough. The politicians that have been in power forever should not have the platform right now, because they were the gatekeepers to all of this stuff.
And no shade to the politicians that's sitting there. Like, it was prime example at the top of the hour. The platforms, y'all not on the platforms that's touching. Y'all not really on this social media wave. So the young people have the direct access to get. You have the platform. Stop sitting on YouTube and watching other people doing all these things. Use your platform. We have these cell phones in our hand.
Right.
We have it. Use it.
And use people who are open to your ideas. Because there are a lot of older people who, and I've experienced it myself, who are like, yeah, who are these progressive Democrats? Like, who do they think they are? Like, no, you're going to need them.
Yes.
This is a movement. Things and if you don't want to acknowledge that change, like, you're going to be left outside.
Way left. I'm scared. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, Madam Mayor. I've been scared to myself. Like, yo, I'm not trying to get left behind. Let me get on this TikTok crack. I don't even want to mess with TikTok, really. I feel like I'm grown as hell, and I ain't supposed to real life be on TikTok. But I can't get left behind.
Right.
I cannot get left behind. And again, thank you for not letting me be left behind and having this conversation, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And there are those of us who know how to organize. The older people, and I'm not old, but I'm 43. I'm like in between, like that.
I wouldn't have gave you no 49. Nope, don't crack. Nope, not at all. Nope.
But you can, find people who are going to help you organize and guide, because all the change in our history has come from younger folks, right? The older people, we gave money. We help you with the cause. Let you use my building. But the actual protest change, those people who eventually got into legislative positions, they were 15, 16 years old. Martin Luther King was 29. Come on, we talk about him all the time, but we act like he was 75 years old when he got assassinated. No, he was only 39. He was younger than me.
For real.
So don't ever feel like you can't do it. It's been done already. You need the older people's help in making sure that they support your vision. But the young people, actually, you all need to organize. You need to have your own stuff. Create your own Black Lives Matters chapter. NAACP, I don't know what they've been doing, but, Yeah. But I think that you all have something new. Because you are Obama kids, it means something different to the next generation or this new generation than it meant for me. You all see that everything is possible, that change is possible. You all have friends that are openly gay, and it's okay. My generation, it was like, he doesn't know he's gay. Don't tell him. Like, come on.
For real though, for real.
So
forward. Like, I think they do realize it though. I think the younger generation and the young, I think they're realizing it a lot more, because some are taking the power in negative ways. I used to play basketball. I was a jock. I coached before, so I've seen a lot of coaches be fired from how they're taking student athletes are now taking the power that they have
Mm-hmm.
and just completely kind of sort of misusing it, or
Right.
but I think they realize it, and I think there is a positive change on a positive note. I think there is more of a positive change with the younger generation.
Well, I mean, listen, there was a young man that was about to, I think, play football for Ole Miss, and he was like, "I'm not playing there if y'all don't take them Confederate flags off."
Yeah,
That would have been unheard of. My parents would have been like, "What you talking about? They giving you a scholarship? You better deal with it."
my grandmother the
You know,
same.
that's whereas your generation is like, no.
My grandmother was the same way. I'm not gonna lie to you. My grandmother was the same way. At full ride at Fordham, oh, I used to call her complaining. They give you a full ride. Be quiet.
Yep.
I'm like, nah, mama, it's not okay. Like, now as a grown woman, like if I could go back then and a lot of different stuff would have, but nah, it wasn't. Even me working for the county for the last 10 years. Nah, be quiet. It's a good job.
Good job, right?
You got people. You got health care.
Suffer in silence.
Nah.
You know. Yeah, just pray about it. Well, what does that mean? Like, I'm gonna need more from you. I need help because, and then you tell me not to go to therapy, but this person over here, I gotta go to work and have all of this abuse going on. This ain't normal.
And then if you go to therapy and the job find out you crazy as hell, or like me, you got a medical marijuana card,
Right.
Oh, you're not suitable to work for our company. Come on, y'all done drove me to this. What you talking about? Neither here there. I ain't even going. I ain't here there.
But this is the platform that your generation, you have more privileges in that respect, because at least we're talking about mental health now. At least, you know, the LGBT community has a caucus and they have a voice. You know, you have marriages, and not just LGBTQ marriages. I mean, you know, men and women who want a civil union versus a marriage because they don't want to be in the church. I mean, those are wonderful liberties. Being able to grow your hair out of your head and people not think that you trying to make some kind of statement. Like, what you trying to say? Like, you pro-black? Like, no, I'm just growing the hair out of my head. I ain't saying nothing. It's my hair.
I didn't realize how real that was. My senior year at Fordham, I started my locks. But growing up in New York, everybody had locks. My grandmother made me wait till I was grown to get my locks because she understood what you just said, but I did not understand it. And I already was on campus. I was an angry black woman. I was angry. I just wanted my freedom rights. I just wanted, treat us the same way. Like, we don't get treated the same way as everybody else.
And you know what? And it's changing the language. Because I tell people all the time, fine, I'm not afraid of being an angry black woman. You know why? Because anger is a human emotion and I'm entitled to it. Everybody else get to act crazy, wild out on folks, scream at people, but I can't do it because I'm black and I'm afraid of you judging me. Well, guess what? You judge me all the time anyway. You judge me as soon as
then we're pretty tall women, so you already know how that comes across. They already intimidated by us, and they already scared coming off rip. So yes, man, I needed you in my life because I'm like one of the most peaceful people, like on some real life stuff. Like I really am. And now that I smoke weed, like I'm real life chill. Like I should have been doing this way back. Real as hell. Like what? Nah, you good.
Right.
Nah.
Right.
Just the intimidation and the stereotypes, the things that we were brainwashed to think of people, Locs. Just militant out the door. Nah, don't have nothing to do with that. Nah.
No. And it's all part of the movement. Right. It's all part of the movement. And remembering that this is an American experiment and that, you know, we were meant to get better, right? We're supposed to move into a more perfect union. It didn't say perfect, but every generation was supposed to move towards a more perfect union. So we have to acknowledge and respect the past. We can't keep reliving the past. And we have to be committed. If this is going to be a movement and not a moment, we really have to be committed to electing people that represent your interests, not letting, you know, the energy die down, organizing, being more focused, reading, having your network, right? Because we call it social distancing, but we're being social right now.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
But we're being social right now and creating these platforms to have these honest and real conversations and getting people who are accessible to people. Period. And really just trying to help each other, because everything is going to be different when we come out of this pandemic. I don't know for better or for worse, but we have to be prepared collectively if we're going to survive. And we can't sit here quarantined and watch Black people being murdered on TV. That is not my viewing pleasure.
And it keeps happening. It's not like it's like a quiet period. Like, it's not like we was like a boy in Atlanta, that was like the day, like, yo, like it keeps happening. Like, we're blatantly being slapped in our face and being told, just effing take it. Right. Just shut up. Just effing take it. We giving you all this, right? You this far. It doesn't matter. It's not a, man.
I actually had somebody say to me, like, what are the chances that somebody would have just been murdered? Like, I'm like, the chances. I'm like, this is normal. Every single month. I said, and these are just the things that we know about.
Heard about. We heard about. That's why I got the guy Elijah this morning. I'm like, that happened in August. It's so damn common, and we miss it because because it happened so much. Come on. Right. I was digging in my goddaughter's behind yesterday. She said, I want a George Foreman shirt. It looks cute. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. She's like, no, Gaga, I didn't mean it looks cute. I was like, all right, let's have a real conversation. Right. That means life is gone. We're gonna have a real conversation. But it was just, she's a kid. Right. And right now it's a moment. And right now it's
she's not a kid. Right? Our kids don't have that luxury. And I tell people that all the time. You know, and my son will tell you, I think when he was 11, we started talking about Tamir Rice. And I say, you see how they're calling him a man? You know, he's 12 years old. So think about how they're looking at you, you know, and that boy is like 5'8", 9.5 size shoe.
Y'all got some all Americans over there, y'all. All Americans.
You know, my kids don't have that luxury. You know, they don't. Little Black kids have been killed and murdered. You know, we have a history of babies being cut out of a Black woman's womb as she was being lynched. Like, that is a part of our history.
Massacres, that's a part of our history.
A part of our history. So they don't have the luxury of being, you know, ignorant about how people look at our skin. And you have to have those conversations with our babies so that they don't run around hating people, because that would crush my soul. I don't want my kids to hate anybody because the system is perpetually teaching people, and, you know, especially the older generation, that there is something derelict about their skin. You know, they have to believe better. And they also come from, you know, white folks. Like, most Black folks have white ancestry. So you running around here hating all these white people, well, you might as well hate yourself, regardless of how that white blood came inside of you. That's irrelevant, because it's only your skin color that matters. It's not genetics. You can't run around hating on folks because of their skin color and then expect people to treat you better. So, you know, that would hurt my heart. And that's why I say you trust people until they give you a reason not to. They'll tell you who they are. And most times people are choosing hate. And you'll know the difference.
Before we wrap this up, I want to go and segue real quick on end this on a positive note, because I think, and I know you personally and Coach, what you guys have is dope as hell. That real life Black love. Please, just encourage the people and the young women out here that how do you even keep that, and how long you've been in that? Like, y'all are like OGs in the game in real life. How do y'all keep that, like, right? Like, how do y'all keep that right? And please tell the people about who your husband and how many years y'all been together and all that. Please.
So my husband and I have been together since 2000. Well, we've been married since 2002. We were together like 6 years prior to that. So I met him when I was 19. and he was a freshman, I was a junior, and
you got your young boy.
Yeah. And he was playing baseball, and I was just impressed because he was, the only black baseball player at the University of Arkansas Fayetteville. And I was like, for you to take that kind of pressure and still play, I was intrigued from just that, like just watching him and his dedication and showing up to every practice. And then he was just this really, really nice person. Dirk is just, he is my hero, my best friend. He always calms me down because my temper is ridiculous.
Get out of here. I cannot. I don't even know. I don't even know that woman. I don't even know.
And it's not like that irrational, like crazy temper. Like it's that quick-witted, cut you with my tongue, like nasty, like. And so, growing up, my family called me Acid Tongue. That was my nickname.
What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, got you.
And so he's always like, man, you gotta be easy. Like you can't be running around here hurting folks' feelings. And it's like, but it's true. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have to say that. Like maybe that's something they working on and this and other. So he's like my conscience. And we talk all the time. Every day, he forces me to kind of run through my day. I tell him, what's going on. And I ask his opinion about stuff. Sometimes I read to him because he don't like to read. I probably shouldn't say that. He reads like functional stuff. So you ever know like that Home Depot 3-2-1 book, and it's like this thick, and you go to the top of the line, and you're like, who reads that? Like I want to meet the person that is like, yo, that is the reading material for the month. I want to learn how to build those floating shelves. He's that dude, right? So if it helps him in his day to day, he'll read finance books and the Home Depot books, but like literature and like contemplating on life and the law of divine compensation and stuff like that. I'll read it to him. I'll read a passage and I'll be like, what do you think about that? How can we apply things like that? So just realizing that one day, food is probably going to be the last pleasure in life, right? If you take care of your teeth. Priorities. You want to be able to share that with somebody you don't mind conversing with every day. And that's kind of what our strength is. I don't know really. I always have to do math when people ask me how many years we've been married. And people are like, how can you not know? Well, I'm not looking at my watch like how much more time I got in this marriage. It's been 10 years. It's getting a little old. Like every day is, like I said, it's a new day. And you choose love. You just don't. I think that's a misconception. Like you have to figure out what it is that you love about somebody, and then also establish your own non-negotiables. Like how do you want to be loved, and never compromise that. You deserve to be loved the way you feel loved. But you.
How do you keep balance in who you are as a woman? Like, how do you keep balance in who you are as a woman? Because you're a mom. You're a wife, you're a daughter, you're a mayor, full-time job. How do you literally keep balance outside of the yoga part? How do you keep balance? What are your joys?
You have to put time aside for yourself. It's no negotiables. You have to tell your family, like, listen, mommy has to go out here. I got to do yoga. I got to meditate. I read a lot. I write a lot. I do feel like if I don't get it out, that it'll just fester and it will hurt me. And sometimes I'll just zone and just write. I may not do anything with it, but it is a release, and you have to find that release. And I think just being really clear, about those things. And as you get older, you'll get better in establishing those things that you're not going to do, because you don't know sometimes until you try it, which you just won't tolerate. or if you've experienced things that you just don't like, you just won't do them. And you just need to be happy that those are just things that you're not going to do. If you don't like to drink, don't drink. You know, drink some seltzer water when you go out with your friends. If it's not your thing, just be comfortable with it being not your thing. There is no balance. There's no easy answer to that question, because you're going to fail at something every day. You're going to fail. There are days that I fail being a mom. There are days that I don't make the greatest decisions as a wife. You know, not coming home. I say I'm going to come home, you know, because you had this late meeting and somebody stops you and I need you for 30 seconds and that turns into 30 minutes. And, you know, even though it wasn't your fault, you said no to something you originally said yes to. And that was something that's a failure. That's a fail. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Your kids don't care. And you got to own that. And it does come with explanation, and you know, you do have to explain that everything's not going to be perfect and I'm going to fail and I'm going to mess up, but you get better because of those mistakes. And just not being hard on yourself, not taking so much personally. I love this book, The 5 Agreements.
4 agreements.
4 agreements, yeah. 4. Thank you.
I love languages. Yes, ma'am.
Not taking everything personally. I say it all the time. I'm going to do my best as the mayor. I'm trying to be the mayor that I wanted for the years that I've lived here. A hands-on mayor, a community mayor, somebody who loves the kids, you know, who does story time Tuesdays and reads informative information to kids and families.
How do you see this stuff? Like, how I like, well, one, you got to follow me on social media because I know you booked and busy. Please, I want to, like, that's why I love watching the movement. Please show me the movement. I want to, and I will read, please out here, because you saying all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, how did I miss this on your social media? How did I not see this stuff? Like, was I not aware of this?
You got to do stuff you like.
Yes, ma'am.
You gotta do stuff that you like, because otherwise the stuff you don't like will just take over your life.
Yes.
But yeah, and then just know that you're gonna fail at some things. You know, America, especially Americans, are like, you know, obsessed with this idea of perfection and, you know, being aggressive, and everybody has to be an extrovert. Well, no, we don't. That's the recipe to failure. That's why we have mental health issues, because you know, people do stuff that they're not comfortable with. You know, I don't want to do a group project. I think you froze. Uh-oh. I want to talk to myself. I do that too. Let's see. There you go. I think. Let me see. I think that's the universe saying it's time to end. I've enjoyed talking with you all for an hour and a half. Let me call Jada so she can wrap it up.
Hey, madam.
Hey, I think you froze.
Yes, that's I cut all the way off.
So, okay, so I think people can still hear you. Do you want to just wrap it up from there?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know. I'm saying on my end it's saying, are we here?
I don't see you, but I think they can hear you.
So we're going to do an auto. I'm sorry, guys, if we don't have the visual. So we're going to wrap it up. Any last words for you, Madam Mayor? Any last words?
Just, believe in yourself and believe that there are other people out here with you. You're not alone. I thank you all for your time, your energy. I know that this was an hour and a half of just straight knowledge and information. Thanks to our beautiful Jada Jae Jefferson, who is open and honest and wanting to share her platform with all of you. I can only offer continued blessings. I hope that you continue to blow up, Jada, and really embark upon this journey that God has set before you. So I thank everybody for listening to me today. Please keep your eye out for other people who represent you, represent your interests. Seek out like-minded folks so that we can really be the change that we're protesting about.
Mayor, where can the people find you on social media? Where can the people find you?
So I do have a Instagram page. It's Mayor Vertreese. I also have a Facebook page, and it says Dahlia Vertreese, Mayor of Hillside. And I think I have a Twitter account too, but I'm gonna learn how to use that. Thanks to you, Jada.
I got you, bro. I got you. Say less. I got you.
So that's about it. I'm not on Tumblr or TikTok yet, but like you challenged me, I'm gonna do it.
I feel like you should do the reason because you have to. I love your family. Like y'all are cute and like y'all are dope. Like that's why I feel like y'all should do Twitter stuff. Like I mean the TikTok, the little challenges and stuff. That would be so cute. Like that'd be dope.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. There, the only one who can sing is Evan, and he won't do that. And the extrovert is actually Aiden, the 6-year-old. So he might do it, but probably if his older brothers are not around. And Liam, just forget about it. He might do public speaking one day, but I don't know.
Liam's middle child, right?
Liam's the oldest. That's the 13-year-old.
Okay, middle. What's middle?
Middle is Ev. Evan is, my afro wearing pro black man. Skinny as I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Aiden is the little one.
Aiden, baby boy, he's always like, yes.
We'll run up to people and give them hugs and like just snuggle them all up. I'm like, can you stop hugging on this man? That's Aiden.
That's a baby boy. That's that energy. Mm-hmm.
Indeed, nothing but energy. But no, thank you for having me on today.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you. And we're gonna work on getting you and Coach on Black Love. I think that'd be dope as ever, yo.
Oh, we would love it.
Yo, that'd be dope. Let's go. We gonna do it.
DNC Enterprises. Nah, definitely.
Let's go. All right, Madam Mayor.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
I appreciate you tuning in, guys. We'll have more platforms and more interviews like this. JadaJae, watch the movement.
Watch the movement.